it do? What it do? Welcome. I am your host, Prince Elias, and today we're having a very special episode of Snake Cinema Podcast. I don't know why I say that every episode, because every episode is special to me, but we are here continuing our originals versus remake series for Halloween. Today we are doing two films, two different series. We're doing originals versus remake of the Evil Dead franchise and original versus remakes of House of Wax. So super excited about both of them. And I think also this episode will be different from the others just for the pure fact that I don't hate none of the movies I'm talking about today. So that's gonna be I think that's gonna be good entertainment because I don't I don't have much. I do have some flaws. Some movies have some flaws, but I don't have like a "ooh, I can't stand this movie" type of review or rant. But yeah, I'm super excited. But anywho, let me do merch shout out. Of course, we got my bro KG and D Bomb Projects on the hat. And today I'm keeping it simple. I have my Pandora bracelet my mom gave me for my birthday 2 years ago, but I also got DJ Royal Caribbean Exotics chart this course and make sale. And then a show that I will be at next weekend in Nashville, the All American Reptile and Plant Expo. Shout out to Troy and his whole team. I really love this show. And I can't wait to be there next weekend in Nashville because I get to see the Pip Set, Ashley and Nikita, but I also get to see some other reptile friends of mine who will be down there. So it's going to be fun. And I will still do a podcast. I just won't be in my house or at the coffee shop. I'll probably be doing the podcast from my sister's house or outside the venue of the Reptile All American Reptile and Plant Expo. So we'll see. Because I want to be there during VIP time. So we'll see. But the show will go on. We will still have a show regardless next weekend. But I'm excited to be going to that reptile show. Now, let's see. Let's pay some bills right quick because we are sponsored still. Hopefully, yes, we're still sponsored. So let's pay these bills. Thank our sponsors. Thank everybody who support the channel, support the podcast, support the network. And I will come back and talk to my favorite supporters, the people in the comments. So hold tight for 2 minutes and then I will come back and chop it with y'all, my peoples in the comments.
Banana Bread Royals demonstrates that taking risks leads to incredible rewards. Their work with hypo is outstanding, and the way they combine it with their Wookiee line is truly unparalleled. The interaction with other genes like Blackhead and Stranger produces breathtaking, one-of-a-kind animals. Be sure to follow them on Morph Market and Instagram. LINDWRYM Exotics specializes in a multitude of reptiles such as ball pythons, dual boas, coastal rosy boas, and false water cobras, to name a few. They are dedicated to providing the public with well-adjusted animals with superior quality. Follow them on Instagram and Morph Market. Black Box Reptile Cages should be your go-to for high-quality reptile enclosures and rack systems. They offer versatile hatchling and adult racks that work with both Vision and Freedom Breeder tubs, as well as a wide range of terrestrial, arboreal, and bioactive cages. Located in Beaufort, Georgia, Black Box Reptile Cages offers local pickup as well as ship and freight. Check them out at blackboxcages.com and use code WhiskeyBomb25 for 5% off. Selected Reptiles works with a wide range of genetic combos, including Hypo VPI Exantic, DG VPI Exantic, and Zebra, but where they stand out is their work with Monsoon, Monarch, Sunset, and other high-end morphs. In addition to reptiles, they produce premium feeder rodents, delivering to Florida, Georgia, and North and South Carolina. Make sure to use promo code WhiskeyBomb5 for 5% off any snake. Check them out on Wolf Market or reach out directly. From fur to feathers, Fuzzy Acres has your feeder needs covered. Whether you're looking for frozen rats, bulk rabbits, or harder to find feeders like quail and guinea pigs, they've got the stock serious keepers rely on. Visit fuzzyacres.com for clean, healthy feeders that are frozen and shipped with care. Remember to use code WhiskeyBomb10 to save 10% on any order, and as always, enjoy free shipping on all orders over $300. Grant and Mary of Rec Room Snakes have been breeding ball pythons and Woma pythons for over a decade. They're staples within the ball python realm, and most notably known for their work with the paint mutation and putting it to multiple codoms and recessives to truly unlock its potential. Please give them a follow on Morph Market to check out their incredible animals, and on Instagram to keep up with their projects.
And we back. Thank you to everybody who sponsored the channel, and also thank you to the baddest DJ in the land, Keisha, for creating that ad and doing the voiceovers. Keisha, we love you. I appreciate everything you do. All right. So, news of the week, news of the week. It was very small, but heartbreaking. It's small but heartbreaking. Since last week's podcast, we've had a lot of deaths, unfortunately, in the entertainment world. Not just in the entertainment world, but in the world general. But I do want to do a quick in memoriam. Rest in peace to R&B singer D'Angelo. Um, he was everybody's childhoods, everybody's adulthoods, college age. And he was one of the pioneers of the neo soul music era. He did a lot. He was very ahead of his time, and he was well respected throughout his entire career. So rest in peace to him, and prayers to his family, especially his son, because his son lost both his parents in the same year. And by his son, I mean I believe his name is Michael. He is the child of both D'Angelo and Angie Stone, another R&B legend. Both of them passed away this year. Angie Stone passed away in March, and D'Angelo just passed. So to lose both your parents all in the same year within a couple of months of each other has to be heartbreaking. And he passed away through the pancreatic cancer. So black men, please, and the reason why I say specifically black men, it is not just a black thing. Everybody of all cultures get it. Brian Barczyk, we lost him to that, but statistically, black men get it the most, and they die young quicker. They get diagnosed the most with it. It hits our community heavy. So please don't wait. When you turn 40, 50-ish, go get tested. Go get tested. Go get your exams, your prostate exams. Please take care of your health. Take care of your mental, physical, everything. But please go to a doctor. Get an annual checkup. Because sometimes, even though the survival rate is very low compared to other types of cancers, if you catch it early, you could get help a lot quicker when it comes to treating the cancer and doing the chemos and all that stuff. So another black man gone from this earth way too soon. D'Angelo was not that old, but rest in peace to him. Also, to all the rock and roll fans, Kiss founding guitarist Ace Frehley. I hope I pronounced his last name correctly, but Ace passed away, I think yesterday, or day before yesterday, they announced it. So all you rock fans, rock and roll fans, Kiss fans, keep his family and friends in your prayers. He has passed away a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I forgot to say this in last podcast, but Diane Keaton passed away, legendary actress, icon, rom-coms, you name it, everything. Like, and she was a very outspoken activist. Her and Jane Fonda, her, Jay Fonda, and Dolly Parton are the white women that the black community protects. Like, we don't play about them. But Diane Keaton passed away, which was very unfortunate and sad. And I think news broke this week that it was from pneumonia. So rest in peace to her. Drew, a lot of people may not know him, but you know his work. It's a guy by Drew Struzman. He's an iconic movie poster artist, movie poster maker. I'll just name the movies, and if you and when I name the movies and those posters, those iconic posters come to mind, he created them. Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, the Star Wars, the original trilogy, um, I believe Jaws, and it was like a whole nother one. He is an iconic movie poster. He created all the iconic posters that we know and love from classic movies, legendary films, legendary movies. So he passed away, unfortunately, this week as well. And then the LGBTQ community, we lost a legend, particularly the trans community. We lost a legend, Miss Major. I believe she was 78 years old, which is a blessing in itself because Black trans women, their average lifespans, most of them don't survive 35 years old. Majority of Black trans women do not survive 35 years old because 9 times out of 10 they are taken away by partners, by transphobic people who hate them, by people on the DL who don't want nobody to know that they like trans women and stuff like that. So to have a Black trans woman die of natural causes, live to see 78 is a miracle. And we thank her. She is a legend. She is an icon. She is an author. She's an activist. And Miss Major, we love you. You are amazing. I wish I would have met you in person, but everybody I know in the community who have met you in person said that you were a wonderful, beautiful soul. And you always stood up for LGBTQ rights. You always stood up for Black rights. You always stood up for trans rights. And so, Miss Major, fly high. We love you. Rest in peace. Rest in power. And I think that's it for the in memoriams. If I miss anybody who passed away, charge it to my head, not my heart. Um, and then also last news of the week that's not so down and dire. I'm actually excited about it, but the trailer drop to the new HBO TV show, It Welcome to Derry. Um, and it's going to be a TV show centered around the town of Derry with It the Clown. I believe this is sort of a prequel before the original It franchise. So it's like him hunting children and hunting people and scaring people before the original crew had to face off with them. I believe that's what it is. So, and they brought back Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. So I'm so excited to have him back in that makeup as Pennywise. Now I'm pretty sure because Bill Skarsgård is such a busy man and such an iconic actor and always working. Not and his price went up 9 times out of 10, he will probably only show up in an episode or two. So let's just lower our expectations that we might see Pennywise on camera. Now he might do a lot of voice acting. Like I can see kids dreaming about Pennywise or hearing his voice in the distance. I can see that happening. But I'm pretty sure us seeing Bill Skarsgård in that costume, that iconic makeup and everything will probably be one episode or two of this season. So let's just lower our expectations, but I'm still excited about the show. And thank God HBO for right now isn't one of those streaming services that I'm boycotting. So I will be watching that. And once I finish watching it, y'all know I'm coming to review to let y'all know whether I liked it or not. Now, that's it for the news. Let's talk to the people in the Chizzy chat, starting with who was first. Thaiga, Mr. Floppy, Row 50. Thanks for tapping in. Of course, my brothers ENT. Thank y'all for tapping in. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. 319 Reptiles, what it do? Thanks for tapping in. I appreciate you. Jamie, try God's Morphs. Thanks for tapping in. Good morning. Good morning. What it do? Let's see. I done got used to the coffee shops at this point. Hey, push come to shove, when we have a million people in this house and they all talking and getting loud, or when my Wi-Fi don't want to work, I'll be back at that coffee shop. Trust and believe. That's my unofficial podcast studio. Jay, Outdoors with Jay. Thanks for tapping in. Good morning. Good morning. I saw your throwback video you posted on Instagram. You was just a little baby Jay, and now you probably 6 feet tall at this point. Thanks for tapping in. Good morning. Good morning. Great to see you. Christopher Walker. I be trying to say Walton, like the actor. My bad. Walker, thanks for tapping in. Good morning. Good morning. Jared, thanks for tapping in. And if you're not, please subscribe to Jared's new channel, Gem Exotics. That's where you can watch the genetic canvas on there. So please support our brother. All love, Jared. Coco, Wiz, thanks for tapping in. Appreciate you for tapping in. And yes, my condolences, Wiz, condolences for you and your family. Spend time with them. uh Wish send your aunt off to the ancestral playing field. Send her off in a good way. Spread the love and rest in peace and rest in power to her. You are in my prayers, Wiz. You are in my prayers, Wiz. Love you, brother. All right. Jesse, thanks for tapping in. Good morning. Good morning. I appreciate y'all. Harry Potter gang. Yeah, yeah. I am a Potterhead. I just Y'all know why. I just don't fuck with J.K. Rowling. I just don't deal with the author anymore. But I'm still a Potterhead. I'm not gonna lie. I'm Hufflepuff, Team Hufflepuff. That's my house, and so it is what it is. Ah, but it's okay. We can always separate the artist from the art. Yeah, it is a sad statistic, but it's real. It's real. A lot of us do not make it. As a matter of fact, Jesse, the at least from what I know, from the trans community, the trans circles, we've lost at least 50 this year in 2025. And that's just the ones we know of. Who knows the ones we don't know of? We've lost at least 50, and a lot of them are young trans women, Black trans women, and Hispanic trans women who have been murdered or died by unaliving. Can't say the word on YouTube, but you know. But Miss Major, like I said, her dying of natural causes at the age of 78 is nothing but a miracle. She's a true survivor. Let's see. Yes, you gotta watch it. It is so good. It is one of those, and it might be the finale of this series, originals versus remakes. It is one of those where the original and remake are both amazing. For me, they're both 10 out of 10, but for totally different reasons. Like they can stand on their own. The updated one, the remake, and the original are both the best. And I love both Pennywise. It's Jim Curry, not Jim Curry, Tim Curry is that main. And Bill Skarsgård is also that main. They gave us two different Pennywises, and both of them are iconic in my eyes. So yes, Orlando, please go watch it. Vinny, Bone Daddy, thanks for tapping in. Appreciate you. Good morning. Good morning. New sponsor to the network. We appreciate you. Appreciate you, bro. Let's see. Yes, yes. JK is such a disappointment, but I'm used to it. Y'all know how big of a fan I am of Disney, and how when I told y'all the story many podcasts ago, when I was a kid, I want to say 8 or 9, I told my mom that I was going to work for Mr. Walt Disney, not knowing he was already dead by that time. But I was like, when I grow up, I'm going to work for Walt Disney. And when I grew up, and actually, I went to film school. I did everything. I got my bachelor's degree in film and video productions, all that stuff. But when I found out his racist past, Total disappointment. That's when I learned how to separate the artist from the art. That's when I learned how to divide the two. I can say F this guy, but also still like what he created. And JK has went down that list of people that I just cannot stand. But I'm not gonna throw the baby out with the bathwater because Harry Potter was my life. I read the books as a child in middle school. I went and saw the films. I actually got in trouble for going to see the films because my parents are devout Christians and they thought, witchcraft and wizardry. So they were upset that my school took us to the theater to go see the movie. But I digress. I still, I can't help it. I love the characters and the lore and all that stuff. Let's see. Slytherin house, man. You know what the issue is? Because I love snakes so much, I wanted to be House Slytherin, but every test I took, every house test I took, the official one and the non-official ones were all like, no, baby, your little sensitive butt is Hufflepuff. Like every time. You are not Slytherin. You're not even close. You're not Gryffindor. You're like, you can change your answers all you want. You are still Hufflepuff. Oh God. Oh. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know. Look, I'm still learning EV Mux. So as of right now, we're still streaming to all channels. So if you wasn't seeing all the comments, my bad, Jared. That's probably because you was on one of the other channels. But I appreciate everybody for tapping in. And I need to go and turn people blue if they're on my channel because I know some people are probably on there and they're not blue. So please be patient with me. Let's see. Scary clowns and clowns in general freak me out. I understand. I understand. The only clown I really can't stand to look at is Art the Clown. If you know, you know. From the Terrifier series, I can't stand even people just dressed up like him. It just freaks me out. But other clowns, I'm good. uh, yeah. Right, right. TJ had the same thing. Yep. I was House Slytherin before the snakes. uh, you are right. You are right. We are. We are the best friends you could ever have. Yep. We are. Morning, Randall. Thanks for tapping in. The other half of Lindworm Exotics. Appreciate you, number 6. Love you. If you know, you know. If you don't, go back and watch previous episodes. All right. I think I went through all the comments now. So let me go ahead and get started because I don't want to be before y'all long. I got two different series I want to discuss. So in this series of originals versus remakes. Originals versus remakes. We have the first one, we have the Evil Dead series. So, Evil Dead. The Evil Dead series began. Let's see. The Evil Dead series began with Sam Raimi's 1981 classic. It was actually rated NC-17. Um, and let's say it is body horror, dark comedy, splatter horror, supernatural B horror movie starring Bruce Campbell, Ellen, I'm gonna say her name wrong, Sandweiss, and Richard Magnicar. Apologies. And basically, the premise is 5 friends travel to a cabin in the woods where they unknowingly release flesh possessing demons. And you can find it streaming on Paramount Plus, but y'all know y'all can also find other ways to stream that junk. But and I think you can also rent it on like Amazon Prime and YouTube and stuff like that. But it is a classic. um it is a classic B movie horror. I remember watching it years ago, um when I was a teenager. And y'all know me, I do not like body horror. I don't. So one thing, but I what I don't like about body horror, I think that I can admit when a film do it well. And this is one of the movies that did it well. It they use one thing I love about the first Evil Dead is that they were on a very tight small budget, and so they had to work with what they could, and they had to use practical effects like painting the blood and all that other stuff and the cuts on the faces and stuff, and it was so realistic and brutal, especially when they were possessed by demons. That it really did scare me when I first saw the movie. Rewatching it when I rewatched it last week because I knew I was going to do this review. It was a lot more funny than I remembered. Even the serious, scary moments because of the makeup and how the characters act when they were possessed and stuff like that. I chuckled. I'm not gonna lie, and it was probably unintentional on the filmmaker's part, but I digress. It was a lot funnier watching it at this big age of mine than it was when I watched it in high school. Uh, and by the time I watched it in high school, it was considered a cult classic because I'm old. Because it came out 8 years before I was born. Yeah, so yeah. Sorry, I'm a millennial. I'm a late millennial. So, but the blood, the guts, the cuts, it really did. It just gives me the ick. It does. And but I can, like I said, even though I don't like that part of the film, they did it so well with the practical makeup and stuff like that. And the story was so well written, and the characters, I really cared about the characters and scared for the characters. And one thing I love about the Evil Dead franchise is that at that time you're so used to it being a final girl in horror movies. You're so used to the last person standing, was the girl, the good girl. But in this one, the survivor was a man, Ash, the who ended up becoming more iconic with all the sequels and the TV series Ash versus Evil Dead and stuff like that. And Bruce Campbell, who played him, ended up being producer of a lot um of the stuff, including the remake, including both remakes. I forgot to tell y'all, when I first announced that I was doing Evil Dead, when when I first announced that I was doing the Evil Dead series, originals versus remakes, I in my head I was thinking the 80s and the 2023 Evil Dead Rise, the most updated one. I totally forgot about the 2013 one. And I went and saw the 2013 one when it came out. Like, I totally forgot that I went and saw that movie. I was like, what the heck? Cause I was like, I'm gonna do Evil Dead and Evil Dead versus Evil Dead Rise. And then I was like, oh shoot, they had a remake before that one. So we're gonna do all three. We're gonna do all three. Tommy, what it do? Thanks for tapping in. Thank you. My bad, y'all. My bad. So yeah, so we're gonna do all three, but I won't take long talking about Evil Dead Rise because I did already review the Evil Dead Rise in a previous episode of Snakes and Podcast, but I am gonna talk about them briefly, all three, and what I love about all three. So that's another positive I like about the original Evil Dead, because I want to do positives and negatives. The positive I like about the Evil Dead franchise is, or at least the first one, is like I said, the characters. I really love the characters. I cared about them, even the throwaway characters, because we all know in these horror films, you know who gonna die first. You already know which ones is the sacrifice and all this other stuff. But it was how they died, how they were taken out, how they were possessed by the demons before they were taken out. It had me on edge, like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen to this person? How is this person gonna bite the bullet? How is this person gonna go out? And it did not disappoint at all. And so I really love the original for that. The only negative I have, which really isn't a negative, more of a nitpick, is that um some of, not all, but some of the reactions of the characters of, it was just stereotypical, like dumb decisions they were making, and some reactions they were having when it start hitting the fan. It start hitting the fan, and they were like, and I was like, why don't y'all just get in the car and go? Why don't y'all just run for the hills? Why don't y'all like? I wouldn't even stayed in that cabin. I'm sorry. I know they explain the cabin sentimental, and this is family, and this our mom owned this or whatever. But I was just like, bruh. As soon as I walked in that door and saw that cabin, as soon as we walked in, like in the wood, I mean in the attic, and saw that, not the attic, the basement, and saw that book that they unleashed, like I would have been out the door. Like, why are we still here? But it's just a nitpick, and I think because I watch so many horror films, and that's now like a trope in the horror films, like y'all saw all the red flags and totally ignored it. Y'all saw all the red flags. But that's about it. I really, really love the original. It has a special place in my heart, and I watch it annually or semi-annually. If I don't watch it every year, I probably watch it every other year, just cuz it's just that good of a movie. If I see it on TV, even with all that ways they edit scenes out of television movies, like I still watch it. Like I love it. Sam Raimi and the crew did a great job with the limited budget that they had, because they did not have much money to make this film. And with the practical effects and shooting on location, not in the studio, but in the actual cabin in the woods. And if you look up behind the scenes of, past interviews and stuff, like how they got this film made, they went through a lot. They went through a lot. So shout out to everybody. But it became a classic. It became a cult film and a cult franchise, and they still have big fan bases to this day. To this day. So shout out to them. And I love that Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell both produced and kept their hands in and consulted all the other movies and TV shows in the franchise. Like, even though they kind of went towards more comedy, more horror comedy with the sequels and stuff, even though they pretty much made Ash the survivor an action hero. The fact that the people who were a part of the original continue to be a part of all the other stuff, like the remake, the 2013 remake, as producers, as consultants, as behind the scenes help, they I you could tell that they love this franchise just as much as the fans, and it shows. And they don't, even when they veer off and do something totally different, like the Evil Dead Rise and stuff, they still had respect and love for the original. And it shows. It shows. And speaking of which, let's go ahead and talk about the Evil Dead remake, the 2013, the one I forgot about, the 2013 version. Um, I remember seeing this in the theaters when it came out back in. I remember loving this one way more than the original. And the reason why is because, one, they had a bigger budget, so it was a lot more cleaner. And by cleaner, I mean you could tell the difference in like the camera quality and stuff like that. You can tell the difference. It just looked a lot nicer, even though they got a lot gorier. All the things that Sam Raimi wanted to do in the original, but he couldn't, they went all out for the remake, the 2013. So you got a lot of guts, you got a lot of gore, you got a lot of blood. And I do like that they updated, the reason why they didn't leave the cabin, the reason why they sorry y'all, one second. The reason why they couldn't just get in a car and leave and stuff, the storylines, the characters. Now I do like the actors in the original versus the remake for certain reasons. However, I did feel for the main character. I believe her name was Mia, when because she was going through a lot. She was going through a lot. And basically, the premise of this version, this remake, is that Mia, a drug addict, is determined to kick the habit. To end that, she asked her brother and his girlfriend and their friends to accompany her to their family's remote cabin while she go through withdrawals. So, and then of course they stumble upon the book of the dead in the cabin, read it out loud, demons come out, and that's when you start to get similar things happen to them that happened in the original. But it made sense why they didn't leave right away, because all of the weird antics she was doing when she was becoming possessed, and all the weird things that were happening to around the cabin and to her, they just chalked it up to, oh, she's going through withdrawals, she's acting like this, she's snapping at us, she's cussing us out, she's saying all this because she's going through withdrawals. Like, they didn't sense the danger that they were in when they in the beginning. So I get why they didn't just leave right away when stuff started hitting the fan. But so it made a lot more sense. And then by the time they realized, oh, we're in danger, it was kind of too late, because more friends got possessed. That wasn't me. More friend, other things started happening. They run out to the car trying to drive away, and the car wasn't working. Like, it started to make more sense. So I do love the more modern versions, how they wrote, why they couldn't leave the cabin, why they didn't leave the cabin right away, and how everybody, was doomed from the beginning. It was messed up. And so it's and like I said, if you like the blood and gore and stuff like that, then you're gonna love the remake more than the original, because they went all out. They lost their minds. The special effect, and one thing I love is, yes, they did use CGI and some stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and say they didn't use any CGI. They definitely used CGI and this stuff, but they still used a lot of practical effects. They did use a lot of makeup, a lot of and they were on location at a real cabin still. Like, even though they had the budget, they could have been at a studio or somewhere fancy or whatever. They still was, you know, acting as if they were back in the original, when they made the original, like we some college kids trying to make a film. Like, that's what they acted like, even though they had a bigger budget. So it was I still enjoyed it, even though I closed my eyes during the body horror scenes, the cuts and the guts, and I still like did this, but I still enjoyed the movie, the story, the characters. It was a lot of fun. And then, of course, briefly, Evil Dead Rise. um Hold on, y'all. Evil Dead Rise is the one that just came out in 2023. And to be honest, this was my favorite. This is my favorite out of all of them. Um, for so many different reasons. One, the characters. Two, the setting. The setting wasn't in a cabin in the woods like the other two. It was in a city, in a high-rise apartment. Um, and basically, a reunion between two estranged sisters get cut short by a rise of flesh possessing demons, thrusting them into a battle of survival as they face the most nightmarish version of their family. And so, basically, the premise was two sisters are estranged for rightful reasons. But basically, they came back together for a reunion. One sister has 3 kids, the other sister had no kids. Well, we didn't know until later on in the film she was pregnant, but she feared, her biggest fear is of being a mother and failing as a mother. And she was thinking about, getting, going to the clinic and getting rid of the pregnancy. But by the end of the movie, you follow this character, you feel for this character, and she realized that not only is she fit to be a mother, but she ended up having to help raise her sister's child. Um, and I love this film because you would think, we're so used to the same horror movie tropes. We're so used to the same thing happening. Like, when you see a horror movie with kids, nothing's going to happen to the kids. Unfortunately for the Evil Dead Rise, some of them kids didn't make it. Some of them kids did not make it, which was a shock to me. I thought all the kids was going to survive and the two sisters were going to be the one to die. That's what I had predicted when I first watched it, but nope. Only one child out of the three kids survived. But I do kind of respect the film for not being afraid to go that route. I respect the filmmakers for not being afraid to say, "Yo, this version of Evil Dead, they evil. They evil for real." um, and they didn't follow the same horror movie tropes. And you still felt bad for all the characters, including the older sister who was the first to become possessed. Like you kind of get why she was cold towards her sister in the beginning, um because of past trauma and their arguments, growing up and how they were raised and stuff like that. And she just saw her little sister like, why can't you just get your life together, like, you understand. But um but you but you kind of get both of their sides of the fight, of the argument or whatever. But I loved it. I loved it, and I appreciate that film. And that's why I love Evil Dead Rise more than the previous two Evil Deads. um Blake, what it do? Thanks for tapping in. Good morning. Eric B, no Rakim, thanks for tapping in. Yes, smash the like, hit subscribe, all that jazz. I appreciate y'all. So how do I feel about the original versus the two remakes? I will say that I will say that Evil Dead will get a 8 out of 10. Evil Dead 2013 will get a 7 out of 10. Evil Dead Rise is a 10 out of 10 for me, my humble original opinion. I do recommend all three. I recommend you watch all three. I recommend you make it a marathon. Now, watching all the sequels might hold on, y'all. Mm, Um Watching every Evil Dead thing might throw you off as far as tone, because like I said, the sequels and everything and the TV show is more comedy and more action. But if you just want to stick straight horror, straight being scared, straight body horror, straight bloody and gore, Evil Dead 1981, Evil Dead 2013, Evil Dead Rise, those are like a perfect triple movie marathon that I definitely recommend for anybody. So yeah, I love all three. I recommend everything. Nobody is a loser in this competition of originals versus remake. And I think the biggest reason why is because the original creator, Sam Raimi, still, even though he didn't direct the remakes, the two remakes, he still had his hand in everything. He still was a consultant, he still was a producer. He did not let them jump the shark, so to speak, and ruin the legacy of the characters or the original lore of the franchise. So even when other directors had a hand in it, they still show respect to the original, the OG. So yeah, I recommend it. I think it's a great series and a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Even if you gotta do like this, watch it like this when you want certain parts, because it does get gruesome, especially in those remakes, with the new CGI and practical effects. Yeah, it was a little still makes my flesh crawls on some of them. Some of those scenes. All right, so now let's go to a totally different tone in horror, and let's do originals versus remakes, House of Wax. Now, I will put a disclaimer out there because I didn't know this until I did further research this week. Because it's been so long since I saw the original House of Wax. The original House of Wax came out in 1953. However, that was not the original. That was also a remake. The original House of Wax, it had a different title. It wasn't called House of Wax, but the original House of Wax, um, the story and everything beat by beat was created in the 20s, in the 1920s. It was so. the what we thought or what I thought was the original. Well, I'm gonna say we, because even if you look on Google and you type in original House of Wax, they keep showing you the 1951. They don't show you the 1920. So the original House of Wax is from 1953, and it stars the legendary, the goat, the horror movie legend Vincent Price. He stars in it, and so he is our main character that we follow for the most part, but there's also another main character that we follow, and it is directed by Andre Detoth. I think I said his name right, or Andre Detoth, because he's not American. Um, and it came out in 1953 with a budget of with a budget of 658,000 USD. But in today's economy, $1 million. And back then, even back then in the 50s, it was a big hit, a big blockbuster hit. They made a ton of money. Vincent Price got rich out this film. It was just an hour and 30 minutes. Um, and one thing that throws me off about the 1953 movie is that if you watch any of those old films, let's say Casablanca or Marilyn Monroe type films, or any of the any films from back in the day, like Gone with the Wind and stuff like that. When it comes to tone, when it comes to musical scores, they all sound similar. So when I did my research and watched this and stuff, it doesn't read or it doesn't feel like a horror movie at all. Even though it is a horror movie. It's listed as a horror movie. And when the second and third act of the film happens, like, it is straight up a horror movie. But when you get the title card and all this other stuff, it sounds like a romantic comedy, like with the scores and stuff. It just throws you off in tone in the beginning. Like, you think it's going to be like a period piece drama or a period piece romantic comedy. Like, you're thinking Gone with the Wind and stuff like that. And you got Vincent Price, showing up. He's working on his little wax models and figurines of his museum and stuff like that. And it takes a minute for you to be like, okay, I'm watching a old school horror film. But basically, the premise of this one is wax sculptor Henry, played by Vincent Price, is horrified to learn that his business partner, Matthew, plans on torching his wax museum to collect on an insurance policy. Henry miraculously survived the fiery confrontation, um, and then emerges years later with a new museum of his own. But the appearance of his new sculptures seem the same as a number of corpses that have vanished from the city morgue. And so, basically, the main character, not Vincent Price, the main character, her name is Sue Allen, played by actress Phyllis Kirk. She started to notice when she's walking around this museum and she's seeing this museum that Vincent Price built, that a lot of these wax figures look awfully familiar as actual people that she know, like one of her best friends. She's like, yo, who passed away recently. So she like, yo, that looks so good. That looks eerily like her. And of course Vincent Price was like, oh, she was my muse, she was my inspiration. I saw her face and I just had to recreate it. But in the twist, and I am gonna spoil this movie. I'm gonna spoil both movies because they're both old as dirt. Um, the twist is, yes, he is robbing morgues, getting people who recently passed while they're still, look good before they decay, and then he pour hot wax and make them to wax figures and dress them up and put them in his museum. Um, and so, of course, like any horror movie trope, they have a confrontation. Somehow somebody, a cop or a detective, come to the rescue to save the main girl, because back then the final girls had to be saved by another man. Like, the final girls, there were no final girls in the 1953 films. And so Vincent Price the twist was he was a bad guy, he was evil, and he got foiled, and then taken out, and then they rescued her, and then the end. But it is a slow burn, I will say that. It takes a minute to get to like the good stuff. However, Vincent Price is that dude. I ain't gonna lie. He, no matter what movie you put him in, he gonna act his butt off. And the main character, Sue Allen, she did great. But it was a fun movie to watch, and it didn't feel long. Even though I say it's a slow burn, the movie didn't feel long. Um, and stop saying pause, Wiz and Eric and everybody else, because I know y'all say that y'all head. um, uh it it went rather quickly. It got from the first act to the second act to the third act very quickly. I did not look at my watch at all while I was watching. I really enjoyed it. But I would give the original, no, I'm not going to give my rating yet of the original, but I did enjoy it and I like it. I like it a lot. I did not regret renting it on Amazon Prime. um so yeah, I highly recommend that. Yeah, I know you do. I know you do, Eric. And so, so that happened in 1953. But then, many, many years later, when I say many, like I think out of all the original versus remakes, well, maybe The Exorcist too, maybe The Exorcist as well. But I feel like this one, there was the longest time between the original and the remake. Y'all know how a lot of these film companies remake something that happened 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I feel like this one, 1953, and if we go by the original House of Wax that came out in the 20s, is definitely a big gap between the 2005 House of Wax, 2005 House of Wax. Like, the timeline, it was a lot. The timeline was a lot, where people who go watch the remake won't even think about the original. That's what I'm trying to say. Like when I went, I was 2005, I was a sophomore in high school. When I went to go see the original in theaters with my friends, I didn't know that the Vincent Price version even exists, let alone the 1920 20 whatever one existed. Like, I thought this was an original story, House of Wax. I thought this House of Wax was brand new, original made, first thought of right here. Like, oh my gosh, this movie is crazy. Like, this is wild. Um, and this House of Wax came out in '05, and it is a gang of college friends um, are en route to a school football game when they wind up with a flat tire in a ghost town, and they are forced to seek help at the only place that's open, a local wax museum. Once inside the spooky abandoned building, they find works on display that are not quite what they seem, and the group discovers it's being hunted by an insane twin brothers who run the museum. And of course, it stars Paris Hilton, because they had her all in the promotion, all in the trailers, because at that time, Paris Hilton was the most famous one out of everybody. But it also stars the heartthrob, my boy crush in high school, Chad Michael Murray. And then it had a bunch of other actors and actresses that if you saw their face, you might not know their names, but if you saw their faces, you like, oh yeah, they were in a lot of movies I saw or TV shows. But it was and it was, when you say early 2000s horror movie, this was definitely a early 2000s horror movie. All the tropes of everything. And it came from the same studio, Dark Castle, who gave you 13 Ghosts, the same studio they gave you House on the Honey Hill, which is another remake of another film, and Ghost Ship. So if you remember those films, this was the same studio that brought us the remake of House of Wax. And so all those tropes of teenagers somehow end up in bad situations. Yeah, but I even the tone of both House of Waxes is vastly different. Vastly. This one is more gory, for sure. And they use practical effects. They use some CGI, but they use practical effects, especially with the wax figures and things like that. And the kills were a lot more gorier. How these people died was atrocious. Now, I do like the characters of the original more than I like the remake. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. I didn't care whether these characters live or died. I didn't fear for they say. Once they introduced all the teenage characters, I was like, oh, you gonna die first. You gonna be next. You gonna know that you might survive. You might be the survivor, but everybody else, y'all gone. That's how I was when I was watching theater, and I was just looking forward to how they were gonna die when I was watching that. Even when I watched it again this week, I'm like, yeah, I can't wait for this scene. I can't wait to this. I can't wait to see this person he bites the bullet. It and how everybody died, gruesome, gory, horrible deaths. But I do like and I do respect that they did not do a shot for shot, beat by beat of the original. They did something totally different. The storyline is totally different. How these characters got it, even how the villains with the wax museum, how and why they are the way they are is totally vastly different from the Vincent Price character. Um, and also with the original, where Vincent Price's character was just stealing corpses from the morgue, he only like actively murdered one person, which was somebody that he just didn't like, his business partner that betrayed him. Everybody else, he just stole bodies from the morgue. Whereas this one, the villains, the brothers, they they just actively killed anybody. Like they killed an entire town and turned them all into wax figures, like the entire town. And then they set them up. It wasn't just a museum, the entire town was set up. They set them up in the context of whatever. So when these folks walked into a church, it was people sitting in the pews and in the congregation as their wax figures in the church. That the main characters walked into a movie theater, and there were figures of people sitting in the movie theater and stuff like that. I think they went to like a cafe or a bar, and they thought this was all just a museum. They thought this whole thing was a museum. No, baby, this was an entire town of people that actually lived there, and they all got brutally murdered by these brothers and turned into wax figures. Like I said, the gore scenes when they finally figured things out, and how people was killed off and stuff like that, it was very, very disgusting and nasty. And I love the practical makeup and things like that. It was dope. So like I said, two vastly different films, two vastly different um tones. I think the remake was a lot more meaner. At least with the original, you kind of got why the dude became crazy and why he did what he did. It was like a revenge story. Like, I've been betrayed and I'm just seeking revenge and stuff like that, and trying to rebuild my museum that I once created, that got burned down. But with this one, it was just two twin brothers who were just evil and deranged, and they just did crazy stuff, like, anyways. But it was a lot meaner. The tone was a lot different, but they each were quite enjoyable and amazing popcorn flick. You know what I'm saying? Amazing, like, it going to the theater, just pop your popcorn. It did the remake was an amazing perfect example of going to a theater with your friends so y'all can yell at the screen and cuss the characters out for doing dumb things and making dumb decisions. This is their perfect movie to do. And even to this day, rent it, watch. If you see it in the $5 bin at Walmart, pick it up, watch it, and with your homies, and just have a good time, just have a ball. And I highly recommend both. I recommend you watch the original just to see how different they both are, and also to see how innovative and different it was at the time when it was released in the 50s. Um, it's a great example if you want to learn more about the history of certain horror films. Looking behind the scenes and researching behind the scenes of both is amazing. They both have their own stories, and again, Even though I love the characters and the actors in the original more than the remake, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, the remake. And so, like I said earlier in the show, I don't hate none of the films I talked about today. I don't hate them all. I will say the original 1953 House of Wax, I would give it a 8.5 out of 10 for my personal score. Just from a movie making standpoint, like, this is one of those films that my professors, when I was getting my bachelor's degree in film, would have made us watch, and I enjoyed it, and I wouldn't have had an attitude if my professor said, yo, y'all gotta watch this film and write a essay about it. I would have been like, okay, cool, I got you. Whereas the House of Wax is just good fun, popcorn horror, good fun. Um, guilty pleasure. Guilty pleasure. That's all I can say. So House of Wax, the remake, I keep saying 2005, 2005, 2005 remake. I would give it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. It's fun. It's fun. It's not a perfect film. It has its flaws. The acting is a little on certain characters, but you gonna have fun watching these characters see their end. A lot of fun. What up, DJ? Thanks for tapping in. Make sure you hit that replay. Appreciate you. Yeah. Now that's yeah. Bear, thanks for tapping in. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I appreciate all y'all. Oh man, I'm so sorry, y'all. Please charge it to my head, not my heart. Charge it to my head, not my heart. Let me shout some people out from earlier who tapped in. Our weekend warriors. Of course, we got Lindworm Exotics because Randall had popped in, and I'm pretty sure Big Double L is somewhere behind the scenes listening. Thank you, thank you. Of course, Jamie, thank you for tapping in. Appreciate you, weekend warrior. Let's see. Bone Daddy's Serpents twice. Weekend Warrior, thank you for tapping in. Appreciate you. Sorry, y'all. I should have did that early in the show. Charged to my head, not my heart. It's just been a morning. It's been a morning. And the coffee ain't kicked in. All right. All right. So I appreciate everybody who been tapping in, listening, even if they ain't saying nothing in the chats. I appreciate y'all cleaning. Yeah, I figured. Geo, thanks for tapping in. Appreciate you. Please hit that replay gang. Hashtag replay gang. Um, what's next week? What's next week? Next week. Let me how many more Saturdays we got in October? I think next week is the last one. Yeah, because our finale of originals versus remakes. We have we have I know for a fact we have Child's Play, original versus remake. So that will be next Saturday. And then we also have we're going to keep the theme of children next week. Our remakes versus originals. We have Child's Play, that's the Chucky franchise. And then we also have Children of the Corn. So we are going to end our Halloween original versus remake extravaganzas with those two. There will be next Saturday, the 25th. Yep, Saturday the 25th. So please tap in. And again, I will be live from Nashville, either at my sister's house when I go live, or at the All American Reptile and Plant Expo Troy show that's in Nashville. So I do appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tapping in to another episode of Snake Cinema Podcast. See, I told you. You could rent it on YouTube or Amazon, or you can probably find the film in them $5 bins at Walmart. Yep. ENT said found it $3.99 rental. Yeah, go on a rental. It's worth the $3.99. I'll tell you that right there. Paris said I'm shopping. What type of shopping? Are you at physically at a store shopping, or are you on Morph Market trying to get a lizard? Yeah. Everybody needs coffee. Oh, you missed it, Gio. I reviewed The Conjuring. I reviewed the new Conjuring. Um, I want to say 3 weeks ago. So tap in to see my opinion on that. But yeah, it was alright. It was pretty good. Yeah, my wife screaming. Well, see, the thing is, I the Conjuring. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love the Conjuring franchise, but demons in general, just like the Exorcist and all else, they just don't do it for me. They just don't like zombie movies. I enjoy zombie movies. Like I love Train to Busan and stuff like that. It's just the monsters themselves don't scare me. Like I'm not afraid of demon possession and haunted houses and stuff like that. Like, and it just like zombies, like they be like, it's a zombie apocalypse outside. I'd be like, oh, okay. Like they just don't do that for me. But I do enjoy good movies when they come out. So, but I get it when other people are scared. Like you have your wife scared. I get it. I get it. I understand. It's not my fear. Morph Market. See, I knew it. Bear, get off Morph Market. Oh, y'all get off Morph Market. I know, no Rakim, get off them ads, them Morph Market auctions. Get off them all y'all get off Morph Market. Y'all gonna stay broke. I'm kidding. Y'all make more money than me. Let's see. Yep. Heights, yep. And there has been some movies on Heights. Like, what's that movie that came out last year? It was a movie that came out last year with two girls that were climbing a pole or a tower and got stuck because the rope broke. That movie would give me anxiety. That movie would give me anxiety because I don't like heights either. You know I love you, Eric. But that is it. I'm gonna let y'all go. I just like Wiz. I also have a funeral to go to, but it's not someone who's directly related to me. It's for a friend of the family. Um, so I'm gonna go and support him. But I'm gonna let y'all go. I know a lot of y'all got some snake cleaning to do, some shopping to do, snake shopping to do, and things like that. I'm not sure if Wiz is gonna go live tonight on on his channel, Sophisticated Ignorance. If he do, tap in with us this evening. We'll see. But for sure, I know for sure our brother and affiliate Mike over at Herb Collectors, our big brother Mike, him and Matt are going live on their show tonight for sure, 1,000%. And for Double Clutch, so tap in, support them. Uh, Go hit their show live, and if you can't, hashtag replay gang for everybody else who missed this live. Hashtag replay gang. I appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank y'all for always supporting your boy, and we will see y'all next week. Hold on. Eric said, "Don't tell me what to do. I'm only watching 5 auctions right now." See, yeah. Go back and watch. Go back and watch that episode. Um, let's see. But yeah, anywho, I will see y'all next week when I talk originals versus remake, Child's Play, and Children of the Corn. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I love the Chucky franchise, so it's gonna be good to go back and watch the original because I have not seen it in like 5 years. But if you want to join the discussion or if you want to add more in the chats for next week, please go watch it so we can all talk together about it. Jay Slithers, thanks for tapping in. Haven't seen you in a minute. Appreciate you. Um, and again, um, I believe Father Don is still doing his show tomorrow afternoon and I will be helping him work in the background on that. So be on the lookout for Father Don's channel to see if we go live tomorrow. I believe we do. I just don't know the guests. I don't have the list of his guests. But super excited about that. And then also tap in with Fred and AJ FNA. They have their show. On tomorrow as well. And of course, I believe Proxima is going to be joining them on that episode, Mike and Melissa. So tap into them. And of course, y'all know the games, the races. That'd be a lot of fun. We be competing. Like sometimes I don't even talk in the chest. I'm watching, but I don't talk in the chest because I be getting mad when I don't win. But it's a lot of fun. It's very competitive. And it's a fun time. I love their show. Their show is very different. That's what makes their show different, unique, and stand out. Cause them boys, they know how to get the crowd going when it comes to those races. It's a lot of fun. So tap into that, and then tap into all the podcasts shows when they return. Hopefully next week. We'll see. We're just playing it by ear, but keep everybody in your prayers. Keep everybody positive thoughts, well wishes, and just we just gotta love on each other, y'all. We gotta love on each other. We gotta show grace. We gotta look out for one another. We're all humans. We fall short. We do. Um, but like I said, let's just keep everybody in your prayers, and you know, just send out positive vibes, good spirits, and let's continue to lift up each other and support each other in other ways we can. And again, follow Jared's new channel, Gem Exotics, GEM Exotics, for Genetic Canvas. And of course, follow his page on Instagram so you can stay updated on who his guests will be for the Genetic Canvas. And just support everybody. We as his channel, everybody. Just so you can be in the know and know when certain shows come live. But I love you all. Thank y'all for always supporting us. Thank you for helping me get to 101 episodes of Snake Cinema Podcast. Whether you're new to this show, watching this show, or you one of the OGs that's been watching back when this was just a vlog, I am totally grateful for all of y'all and everybody in between. I love y'all. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. And let's be great. Let's be great, and let's just take everything one day at a time, one step at a time. Y'all are amazing. Keisha, I love you. I'm here for you. Y'all have a great day. Peace.